in a positive outcome.
You son of a... Phoebe! Oh, hi, Ben.
Does that sound like you? Come on, don't be shy, fess up. How your potty mouth can actually help relieve stress.
Heck yes. Oh, yeah.
Hey, honey, you could be my drug. You could be my new prescription.
All right, President Trump's upcoming meeting with Kim Jong-un has been narrowed down to just 5 locations, as South Korea confirms it is negotiating a potential peace treaty with the North.
Gordon Chang is the author of Nuclear Showdown: North Korea Takes Over the World. He joins us now to react. Gordon, thank you for joining us this morning. So we're starting to hear a few more details, specifically here that it has been narrowed down to about 5 locations. Where do you think it should happen?
Well, I think that it should happen just someplace like for South Korea, I think would be very good in the demilitarized zone. That's where Kim Jong-un is going to meet his South Korean counterpart, Moon Jae-in, on April 27th. The one place it should not occur should not be in Pyongyang. Also, I don't think it should be in China either. One of the good things for President Trump is he's cutting the Chinese out of these discussions. So we should not let them back in by holding it in Beijing.
That's an interesting perspective. I want to ask you, I mean, what makes anybody confident to think that North Korea would actually follow through on their obligations here? We have what a lot of people think is a bad deal with the Iran nuclear deal. We can't trust North Korea, as we've learned in the past. Couldn't they just build like an underground layer somewhere that we don't know about and keep doing what they've been doing unbeknownst to us?
Yeah, the most important thing will be verification of the deal. The Iran deal of 2015 is faulty because there are a lot of places that we cannot inspect. So, for instance, Iranian military bases. We don't have the type of inspection regime that is absolutely necessary to make sure the Iranians cannot. It's the same thing. Certainly, it's even more true for the North Koreans. You can have a deal with them, but we've got to be able to go anywhere, anytime. And this is going to be up to President Trump. He's talked a lot about verification. So I think this is something when it comes
Gordon,
to...
we're having a heck of a hard time hearing you there. Hang on one second. Do we want to keep trying with this, guys, or do we want to...
Okay. Gordon, it looks like we're having a hard time hearing you. The connection is pretty bad, so we'll try and get that back.
We're going to try and bring Gordon back and get a better connection there. Let's go ahead and head on to let's go on to this. 16 minutes after the hour now. Is your old internet router the perfect spying tool? The feds sounding the alarm that Russia may be trying to hack your home. Coming up, a warning from a security expert who says this is the future of warfare and we are about to lose.
Send in the troops, the beginning of the end for California's open border policy, the deal the Trump administration just reached with the liberal state.
Being confident. What's wrong with being confident? It's time to get the chains out. Is your top?
All right, welcome back. We have a big topic this morning talking about this potential meeting between the president and Kim Jong-un coming up. And we have one of our favorite experts, Gordon Chang, who is live for us via Skype. We had some difficulty earlier. We're going to try this one more time with you, Gordon. I want to ask you a question. As far as getting a deal done here, you know, when you want to buy something and the other side knows you really want to buy it, the way the president really wants to make this happen, is there a vulnerability because he's so excited about the potential of getting this done after all these years that he could sign up for a bad deal here with the North Koreans?
Yeah, I don't think that President Trump will. And he was very explicit about that yesterday when he said, look, I want to meet Kim Jong-un, but I'm also going to walk away if these discussions are not fruitful. And that's very important, especially for the North Koreans to hear that before the meeting so they understand they've got to come and talk to President Trump in good faith. So I'm confident that the president understands that risk and is not going to end up in a bad deal.
Hey, Gordon, what was your thought on the news that came out earlier this week about Mike Pompeo actually having a meeting with a face-to-face with Kim Jong-un over Easter weekend?
Yeah, I was stunned. And the important message here is that the administration is paying a lot of attention to this, devoting resources to making sure that the preparations are done right. And also it shows that Kim Jong-un himself is serious about the meeting because he's willing to meet the CIA director So it's a good sign that both sides are taking this with the seriousness.
We're gonna try to get one more in here. I know the connection's not that good yet again. The president here, did he do a service to this by being so tough talking and unpredictable in a way that previous administrations had not? Is that a reason why this has all come together the way it has?
Yeah, I think there's two reasons why, at this point. One of them is because the North Koreans are concerned about an American strike on their facilities. The second reason is because UN and Trump sanctions have actually started to constrict the flow of money to North Korea. That's important because this regime, more than others, depends on a flow of cash coming in order so it can launch missiles, detonate nukes, and engage in gift politics, which is Kim Jong-un giving luxury items to buy the loyalty of senior regime members. So I think it's that Kim needing sanctions relief, which is really the primary reason why he wants to meet with President Trump.
All right. Thank you, Gordon Chang, for your insight this morning, for hanging on with us despite some interesting technology. We appreciate it.
Yeah, nobody knows it better. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Send in the troops. California will send the National Guard to the southern border at the request of President Trump.
But California Governor Brown's agreement not coming without conditions. Todd Pyro joins us now with the latest on this new deal. Todd.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Jillian. The back and forth appears to be over for now, as California Governor Jerry Brown said he will deploy up to 400 National Guard members to combat criminal activity. Now, this all comes after the president slammed Brown for, quote, trying to back out of his earlier pledge of Guard members. Now, under Brown's order, the Guard will combat criminal gangs, human traffickers, and illegal firearm and drug smugglers within the state, along the coast, and at the U.S.-Mexico border, with the cost being picked up by the feds. But it goes on to limit their duties. Quote, California National Guard service members shall not engage in any direct law enforcement role, nor enforce immigration laws, arrest people for immigration law violations, guard people taken into custody for alleged immigration violations, or support immigration law enforcement activities. With a groundswell of California cities fighting sanctuary laws, one possible opponent of Brown in the upcoming gubernatorial race says the order is not enough.
Talking about getting criminals out of California, and Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom are favoring criminal illegal aliens over the law-abiding citizens of this state. It's got to end, and I think the people are rising up, Laura. I think there really is a revolution brewing.
Meantime, in just a few hours, President Trump will visit a federal anti-drug trafficking agency in Key West, Florida. Rob, Jillian, back to you.
Telling these guys to not follow and to not enforce immigration laws. It's just something to hear. All right, Todd, thank you so much.
No problem.
It is 24 minutes after the hour. 2 days, 2 engine explosions. First Southwest, now Delta. More passengers speaking out about the horror after a woman was nearly sucked out of a window.
Had the window go out, the lady go out the window. The guy helped, and we got her pulled in, and they tried to resuscitate her.
How investigators are now scrambling to figure out exactly what went wrong.
And are Democrats abandoning Catholics? The Archbishop calling out the left.
Baby, I know you're asking me to stay.
All right, welcome back. More trouble in the skies. A Delta plane's cockpit fills with smoke just minutes into a 7-hour flight. The pilot forced to make an emergency landing.
This comes just 1 day after, as you recall, that deadly Southwest engine explosion. Jackie Ibanez joins us now with the very latest. Jackie.
Good morning, Jillian and Rob. A Delta plane taking a frightening turn for the worse midair. The flight heading from Atlanta to London forced to turn around as thick black smoke poured out of the right engine. Crews declaring an emergency to passengers. Listen.
Issue with the engine on the right-hand side. Apparently there's some smoke coming from it.
Passengers say they noticed something was wrong just 20 minutes into that flight.
We knew there was something going on, and you could tell by the reactions of the flight attendants.
Yes, I should be late back to London, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Firefighters spraying the plane down there with foam on the tarmac. No one was hurt and passengers were put on another flight. Now, this incident coming just one day, as you remember, after a Southwest engine exploded shortly after takeoff from New York's LaGuardia Airport. Medical examiners say Jennifer Reardon died of blunt force trauma to her head, neck, and torso. She's a mother of two who was wearing her seatbelt at the time when she was sucked into the window that broke from the blast. Passengers reliving those horrifying moments as they tried to save her.
The window go out, the lady go out the window, and I couldn't pull her in. The guy helped, and we got her pulled in, and they tried to resuscitate her. Anyway, the crew and pilot, they got it landed somehow.
Amazing. Investigators still don't know how the window broke, but it appears that the plane was pitched at an angle of 41 degrees. Just to put it in perspective, pilots rarely go to 25 degrees. Officials say more than 2,400 planes with that specific engine are in the air at any given time. The FAA says it plans to issue a directive in the next 2 weeks requiring inspections of fan blades in engines. American Airlines says it's already started those inspections on more than 300 planes. Jillian and Rob.
It's so scary.
It is unreal.
Thanks, Jackie. Police warning of violent protests as unfounded hysteria grows over fears President Trump will fire Robert Mueller. Pittsburgh officers receiving this email detailing a potential large-scale protest if the special counsel gets sacked. Officers now must bring riot gear to work with them every day until further notice. The White House has said repeatedly that there are no plans to fire Mueller.
Even last night in that press conference. All right, it is the end of an era. For the first time in the lives of many Cubans, someone other than a Castro is taking over leadership of the communist nation. Raul Castro now stepping down as the country's president, a position that the 86-year-old has held since his late brother Fidel resigned in 2008. Earlier, senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation and a Cuban native, Mike Gonzalez, weighed in on what America needs to do.
We should do everything we can to try to see if there's a way forward for freedom, try to give Cubans the opportunity to choose their own leaders, which they haven't had in 6 decades.
Yeah. All right. Mike Gonzalez, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, Raul has been preparing his vice president, 57-year-old Miguel Diaz-Canel, to take his place. Castro intends to remain as head of Cuba's Communist Party.
A police officer says divine intervention saved his life. Brand new dashcam video showing the officer nearly blown away when a home explodes in Texas. If he got there any earlier, he could have died. Wow, that is frightening. Officer Travis Heiser investigating after an unlicensed driver slammed into a home and hit a gas line. The officer and everyone inside the home survived. One woman is still in the hospital.
I mean, that looks like the scene out of a movie.
Oh, I know.
It's insane. All right, turning to extreme weather now in Hawaii, bracing for another round of flash flooding and possible mudslides. Residents there being told to prepare to evacuate.
Legendary surfer Laird Hamilton helping rescue people, saving a group of 15 girls trapped by the floods during a slipover.
And today, parts of the Northeast are waking up to snow. Can you hear Janice already?
Where? Snow!
I saw you tweet something saying that I hate this weather is not an appropriate way to speak to the meteorologist when you're walking down the hall.
That happened yesterday. I'm not going to give away who it was.
How about good morning, Janice, but I hate this weather.
Thank you so much. It was just like, I hate this weather. Okay, how are you today? Did you have your coffee? Hi. Yeah, you know what? Better news next week, all right? But if you greet me like that, I'm going to give you bad news. Here you go. Current temperatures, 43 in New York. Yes, could see a little bit of snow today across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, but a bit of a pattern change is on the way, my friends, okay? So it's almost ending. It's almost ending. There's the past 24 hours. This is not a big system, but it is bringing some nuisance snow to parts of the Great Lakes, interior Northeast, and some nuisance rain across the coast.